I have here one of the most bizarre devices that you've probably seen, the Califone. It's a device that is supposed to help kids learn words, and my brother forgot to send me the cards, so I had to make my own up here by taping a piece of reel-to-reel tape onto a 3x5 card. And when you do that, it slides through the slot like this, and it creates a sound. If you want to record a sound, hello in there, and you can play it back. Hello in there. And you can do funny things like there. Make it go slower, you can make it go faster. Hello in there. It's kind of fun. But the problem is, although it provides plenty of nice jacks on the side, headphones out, 1/4 inch, mic in 1/4 inch, headphones out 1/8, mic in 1/8, and then an aux out. None of these are at the right level to play around with hooking up to your computer, for example, to do film scoring or to hook up to a guitar pedal chain. So the problem is the mic input is extremely sensitive. I'm going to show you that just 50 microvolts it starts to saturate. Meanwhile, the headphone output, you can change the volume of the headphone output with the volume control here, so you can get whatever level you want. The aux out seems to be kind of a constant 90 millivolts out when it's right near saturation. So it looks like it should be possible to hook it up to a pedal board or some kind of computer system, but the mic volume is far too sensitive. And I wrote this all down here using the 1/4 inch mic in, 50 volts, 50 microvolts max at a kilohertz. And I got that figured out by hooking up my little 1 kilohertz calibrator device here into a compressor pedal. And the only reason I have this here is to vary the volume. This has a 9-volt battery in it that drives the compressor pedal. The signal goes in, comes out, goes through the red cable, and then splits here so that I can monitor the AC RMS voltage on my meter, and then I can inject the signal here into the mic input. Now thankfully you don't have to record the card while you're doing this. All you have to do is press the record button. Okay, I believe we're ready now. So the trick is that there is no signal coming out unless you have headphones. Otherwise it just directly records onto the tape. So now if I press the record button, I'll get a monitored signal out of the headphone. Now this is a mono output, so it only comes out the left channel. Alright, that's supposed to be a 1 kilohertz sine wave. It sounds incredibly distorted like a square wave. And this is showing I have about 0.9 millivolts RMS, which is a very small number. I'm going to have to turn this down because that's about 10 times too strong. Let's turn that down to 0.1 and let's see if we can still hear it. I may have to turn the volume up here. I still hear overtones on that 1 kilohertz. You'll also notice there's a slow ramp up to the volume, and that's because there's an automatic gain control in here, which makes things even more difficult because it's trying to get the mic volume to be somewhat level. So it's got an automatic gain control. I'm going to turn this down now from 0.1 down to where it just kind of cuts off to 0. Maybe I'm already there. And I have to say it's somewhere around 50 microvolts. And it still sounds a little bit funny, but that's starting to sound like a sine wave a little more to me. But I can't tell you what that voltage level is other than I guess it's about 50 microvolts because it's off the scale of this meter. So, and that's an incredibly small signal. That's ridiculously small. So if you wanted to hook it up to a pedal board, you have no chance. You're going to be completely saturated. So what I did was I took a cable here from Nutric. So I took the cable, this housing apart, drilled a hole in it, and I installed this little tiny potentiometer here. And it's a 10K pot, and I put that in series with a 1 meg resistor, and I stuffed all that inside here. So essentially what it's going to do is you've got a 1 meg series and a 10K shunt, which gives you about 40 dB of attenuation. at max. Now you can turn this pot down lower and get even more attenuation. And of course this only works one direction. So I put a connector on the other end now, so you have an input and an output. And now instead of this short cable, patch cable, I'm going to drop my attenuator cable in. And now I have 40 dB attenuation. So when I go ahead and press the record button now, you can't hear it. So I need to turn this up now to about 5 microvolts. 5 millivolts, sorry. Let's see here. Okay, here's 4.6 millivolts RMS. And now you can hear a nice sine wave. And of course if we go higher, too much higher than that, we'll start to distort. You can hear some overtones now. But this allows you to have a much stronger signal coming in. Alright? And somebody might say, well, 5 millivolts is too much. I've got 50 millivolts coming out of my guitar pedal rig. Okay, well then you just take a small screwdriver, like this, and you adjust that potentiometer down so that it is not distorting when you hit 50 millivolts. Let's see, I can get 50 millivolts on here. And this is going to take a little, trial and error here to see if we can get that right. Probably right about there. So now you can run with a 50 millivolt source. And if you say, well, that's not enough, I have a 100 millivolt source or 200 millivolt source or a 1 volt source, 1 volt's going to be tough. You got to turn that thing real close to cutoff, and it's going to be very sensitive. But you could easily do 200 millivolts, 500 millivolts the same way. You just put your source there, hook it up, and adjust it to whatever level you need. Here's 500. See if I can get that. It's going to be... I never tried this one before. But we're close. Right about there. I'd say going over a half a volt is going to be pretty tough. Instead of a 1 meg resistor in here, you might use a 5 meg or a 10 meg resistor. That'll get you 60 dB attenuation. Or use a 1K pot instead of a 10K pot. But this is looking good now. It may actually be possible to use this for a guitar or other application. So let me know if you want one of these attenuation cables. They weren't terribly difficult for me to make up, and I can make more of them.